1935, a wave of fear was sweeping the country. Silicosis was taking its toll from the ranks of American workers. Cause of the disease, dust. Results of the disease, disablement, poverty, death. Cure for the disease, none. Throughout America, workers exposed to dust grew fearful of their health, of their very lives. 1936. Amid these alarming events, the Secretary of Labor called together a national conference to study this disease. A committee of 60 experts was appointed, and a year later reported to the Secretary of Labor. But let's hear from Miss Perkins herself.
After a year of work, the National Silicosis Conference Committee has just made its report of findings and recommendations, and I feel it to be my duty to make this report available to the working people of the United States and to their employers by every available method. This report shows how silicosis occurs, where it occurs, and what the disease is, and it makes recommendations for its practical control. Above all, the report emphasizes that these control measures, if conscientiously adopted and applied, that silicosis can be prevented.
This worker has been employed at a dusty trade for several years. He is healthy, robust. He can put in a full day at hard work. Notice his deep chest and good general appearance, despite years at his trade. He periodically goes to a skilled doctor in whom he has complete confidence. The doctor gives him a thorough physical examination, just as a check on his condition. His examination includes, among other things, the making of a routine X-ray film. Although a final diagnosis of silicosis cannot be made by X-ray alone, an accurate diagnosis is impossible without it. Sandblasting of rough castings in foundries is one of the dustiest of operations. These workers wear helmets like deep-sea divers, into which clean filtered air is fed. They work in a tightly closed room so that other workers in the foundry are not exposed. In many cases, silicosis control is just as simple as this: oiled sawdust sprinkled on floors. Or wet sweeping keeps the dust down. In other words, good plant housekeeping. The vibrating screen. See how dusty it is. Workers would be exposed were it not for the exhaust system, which, when turned on, draws the dust off, carrying it through a system of pipes to a dust collector. This is the dusty bagging operation we saw earlier. However, with the exhaust system in operation, there is no dust in the air. The worker wears an approved filter respirator for added protection during periods of temporary exposure. In this close-up, the dust is being carried at high speed into the suction system where it is collected. And here is the way this dusty servicing machine can be controlled by using a suction device. Note how the dust and stone chips are drawn into the hood and thus kept away from the workman's nose and mouth. In the granite quarrying industry, rock drilling is one of the dustiest operations. It can be made non-dusty and safe. One method is to force water through pipes to the point of operation. Water flows through this simple little device around the drill steel and prevents the dust from flying into the air. We have seen but a few of the practical, simple, and inexpensive control measures in actual use. However, they must be adopted more widely by employers, used more consistently by workers, and required more generally by state and other agencies. Silicosis can be entirely prevented. The Division of Labor Standards will give you full information. Stop silicosis.